Amelia had always been cautious when browsing Craigslist, but when she stumbled upon an ad offering the deal of a lifetime, she couldn't resist the temptation. Amelia was an avid Craigslist user. She had found great deals on furniture, appliances, and even scored a few odd jobs here and there. However, she knew that lurking behind the seemingly innocent listings were potential dangers. She always approached each ad with skepticism, reading between the lines for any red flags. But one evening, as she scrolled through the free stuff section, a particular listing caught her eye. The ad read, "Free vintage doll collection. Must go ASAP." Amelia's heart skipped a beat. She was a doll enthusiast and had been searching for unique additions to her own collection. The photos accompanying the listing showed a wide array of dolls, each one more intriguing than the last. Without a second thought, she messaged the seller to arrange a meeting. The seller, a man named Mr. Jenkins, responded quickly. He claimed that the dolls had belonged to his late grandmother and that he needed them gone urgently. Amelia was thrilled. They agreed to meet the next day at Mr. Jenkins' house, which was located in a quiet suburban neighborhood. As Amelia drove to the address, she couldn't shake off a strange feeling that something wasn't right. Nevertheless, her excitement overpowered her unease. When she arrived at the house, she was greeted by Mr. Jenkins, a middle-aged man with a friendly smile. He led her into the dimly lit living room, where the dolls were neatly arranged on a long table. Amelia couldn't contain her excitement as she examined each doll. They were in remarkable condition, and she could hardly believe her luck. She thanked Mr. Jenkins profusely and offered to pay him for the dolls, feeling guilty for taking them for free. But Mr. Jenkins insisted that he just wanted them gone. As Amelia packed the dolls into her car, she noticed a small, tattered notebook left behind on the table. Curiosity got the better of her, and she picked it up. Flipping through its pages, she realized it was a diary belonging to Mr. Jenkins' grandmother. The entries spoke of a dark and mysterious past, with mentions of rituals, curses, and sacrifices. Amelia's excitement turned into dread. She felt a chilling presence in the room, as if she were being watched. Her mind raced with terrifying possibilities. She hurriedly left the house, determined to rid herself of the dolls and the haunted diary. That night, as Amelia lay in bed, she couldn't shake off the feeling that she was not alone. Shadows danced across her walls, and the dolls seemed to stare at her from their new spots in her collection. She tried to convince herself that it was just her imagination running wild. But the next morning, Amelia woke up to a horrifying sight. The dolls had come to life. They moved and whispered in hushed voices, their glassy eyes fixed upon her. Paralyzed with fear, Amelia watched as they slowly advanced towards her, their tiny porcelain hands reaching out. In her final moments, Amelia realized the true horror behind the Craigslist ad. The dolls carried an ancient curse, and now she was trapped, forever surrounded by the haunting gaze of the vintage doll collection. Story 2: The Secret Buyer. Ethan thought he had struck gold when he found an ad for a brand new car at a ridiculously low price on Craigslist. But little did he know that the buyer had a sinister agenda. Ethan had been saving for months, hoping to replace his old, beat-up car. As he scrolled through Craigslist, a listing caught his eye. Brand new luxury car, Unbelievable deal. The ad featured a sleek black vehicle that looked straight out of a dream. The price was unbelievably low, a fraction of what he had expected to pay. Excitement coursed through Ethan's veins as he contacted the seller, a man named Mr. Blackwood. They arranged to meet in a desolate parking lot on the outskirts of town, far from prying eyes. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest as he parked his car and stepped out, clutching the cash he had withdrawn for the purchase. Mr. Blackwood arrived in a nondescript van, his face hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat and dark sunglasses. He spoke in a deep, raspy voice, promising Ethan a deal that he wouldn't find anywhere else. Eager to seal the agreement, Ethan handed over the cash and Mr. Blackwood handed him the keys to his new car. As Ethan drove away, his excitement turned to unease. The car seemed to have a strange energy, as if it were alive. Unnerved, he tried to dismiss his concerns and focused on enjoying the ride. But as the days passed, peculiar things started happening. The car would steer itself, taking Ethan on terrifying joyrides through abandoned streets. Its headlights would flicker on and off, casting eerie shadows on the road. Ethan's dreams became haunted by nightmarish visions of the car chasing him, its engine roaring with an otherworldly sound. Determined to uncover the truth, Ethan began researching the car's history. He discovered that it had once belonged to a serial killer who had used it to commit heinous crimes before being apprehended. The car had been seized by the police and sold at an auction, ending up in the hands of Mr. Blackwood. Ethan's blood ran cold. He realized that the car was possessed by the malevolent spirit of the serial killer. The low price and secretive transaction were all part of a sinister plan to pass on the curse to an unsuspecting victim. Panic set in as he realized that he was trapped in a vehicle that craved bloodshed. In a desperate attempt to break free from the car's grip, Ethan sought the help of a paranormal expert named Dr. Miller. Dr. Miller was known for his expertise in dealing with supernatural entities and cursed objects. Ethan explained his harrowing experiences and showed Dr. Miller the car, hoping that he could find a way to sever the connection between the car and the serial killer's spirit. Dr. Miller examined the car carefully, running his hands over its sleek exterior. He muttered incantations and performed rituals to weaken the malevolent presence within. Hours turned into days as they delved deeper into the dark history of the car and the serial killer who had once controlled it. Through their research, they discovered that the serial killer had performed horrific rituals inside the car, using it as a vessel for his dark deeds. The car had absorbed the negative energy, becoming an extension of the killer's malevolence. Breaking free from this curse would not be easy. As their efforts intensified, the car fought back. It resisted their attempts to cleanse it, causing havoc and terrorizing Ethan. The car's engine would rev uncontrollably, its doors would lock and unlock on their own, and its windows would shatter without warning. The spirit was determined to hold on to its newfound host, but Ethan and Dr. Miller persisted. They gathered ancient artifacts and performed intricate rituals to weaken the grip of the serial killer's spirit. They created a protective circle and chanted ancient incantations, drawing upon the forces of good to counteract the evil within the car. Finally, after days of intense struggle, the car's resistance started to wane. The malevolent spirit grew weaker as the cleansing rituals took hold. Ethan could feel the darkness dissipating, replaced by a sense of calm and relief. As the last remnants of the curse were banished from the car, a blinding light enveloped it. The once possessed vehicle now stood as a normal, non-threatening luxury car. Ethan let out a sigh of relief, knowing that he had escaped the clutches of the serial killer's curse. In the aftermath of the ordeal, Ethan decided to sell the car. He couldn't bear the thought of driving it, knowing the horrors it had once witnessed. With the help of Dr. Miller, he found a buyer who specialized in dealing with cursed objects. The car would be locked away, never to be used again. However, even though the car was no longer possessed, the memory of its dark history haunted Ethan. Nightmares continued to plague him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that the spirit of the serial killer was still lurking in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Determined to find closure, Ethan delved deeper into the history of the serial killer. He visited libraries, scoured online archives, and even sought out the families of the victims. He wanted to understand the full extent of the atrocity committed by the man who had once owned the car. His relentless pursuit for the truth led him to an old mental institution on the outskirts of town. The institution had been closed down years ago due to reports of inhumane treatment of the patients. It was here that the serial killer, whose name was Frederick Collins, had been held before his capture. Ethan's heart raced as he explored the dilapidated halls and rooms of the abandoned institution. He couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being watched, that the spirit of Frederick Collins was still present, lingering in the shadows. In one room, he discovered a hidden compartment in the wall. Inside, he found a collection of newspaper clippings, photographs, and diaries. The chilling evidence revealed a dark secret. Frederick Collins had not acted alone. He had been part of a twisted cult that worshipped an ancient deity, offering sacrifices to gain power and immortality. The cult's rituals involved the use of cursed objects, such as the car Ethan had purchased. The members believed that these objects possessed the ability to channel the deity's dark energy and grant them supernatural abilities. The car had been one such object, used by Frederick Collins as he committed his heinous acts. As Ethan pieced together the puzzle, he realized that the curse of the car went beyond the mere possession by the serial killer's spirit. It was imbued with the malevolent power of the ancient deity, a force that continued to exert its influence long after the car had been cleansed. Determined to put an end to the curse once and for all, Ethan sought the assistance of Dr. Miller once again. Together, they embarked on a perilous journey to locate the hidden temple where the cult had performed their rituals. Deep in the heart of a dense, ancient forest, they discovered the long-lost temple, shrouded in darkness and secrecy. With ancient incantations and powerful artifacts, they performed a final ritual to sever the connection between the deity and the cursed objects. As the last words of the incantation left their lips, the ground shook and the temple trembled. The air crackled with energy, and a blinding light engulfed the surroundings. The ancient deity's power was banished, leaving behind only a sense of emptiness. Ethan knew that the curse had finally been lifted. The car and the other cursed objects would no longer bring harm and suffering to those who possessed them. He felt a weight lift from his shoulders, knowing that he had played a crucial role in breaking the cycle of darkness. In the aftermath, Ethan and Dr. Miller decided to dedicate their lives to protecting others from the dangers of cursed objects and malevolent spirits. They formed an organization using their knowledge and expertise to investigate and neutralize supernatural threats. Ethan's harrowing experience taught him that not everything that seemed too good to be true on Craigslist was worth pursuing. He became an advocate for caution and awareness when navigating the online marketplace, always urging others to approach deals with skepticism and diligence. The horrors he had faced would forever be etched in his memory, serving as a reminder of the unseen dangers that lurk in the shadows, waiting to ensnare the unsuspecting.